Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're getting into something really pivotal, the place where the Internet of Things meets cloud technology.
Yeah, it's a fascinating space. And a lot of what we're discussing today is sparked by the thinking in an article, Matter with Cloud, by Kaijo Tominen.
Exactly. So our mission really is to unpack why this convergence is happening now, look at the tech involved, especially this Matter standard everyone's talking about, and figure out what it all means for, the future of all these connected gadgets we have or might have soon. Keep it clear, keep it insightful.
Sounds good. It really feels like a turning point for connected devices. Tuominen's article is a great starting point to see how we're moving from, well, a bit of chaos towards something more unified and cloud-driven.
Okay, so let's start right there. The why. Why does this need to happen? The article uses this analogy I thought was quite good, comparing today's smart home mess to the early internet days.
Oh, yeah, the token ring versus Ethernet thing.
That's the one. It really paints a picture, doesn't it? Think about your own setup. You probably got, different apps for lights, heating, security maybe?
Definitely, it's fragmented. Nothing really talks to each other seamlessly.
And that's the pain point, right? It just hinders the whole experience.
Yeah.
And Tuominen points out, pretty directly actually, that consumers, they'll choose what's easy.
Exactly. He says something like, the devices that fit the common home paradigm with ease of use and seamless integration, those are the ones that will win.
Makes total sense.
Yeah.
People want simple.
It really boils down to that. Ease of use, seamless integration. That's the demand.
Which leads us nicely into Matter. This is pitched as the solution, right? The glue, as Tuominen calls it.
That's the idea. Matter is this standard. It comes from the Connectivity Standards Alliance, the CSA.
Right. And the big goal, I gather from reading around, maybe in Wired, is getting the big players, Amazon's Alexa, Apple HomeKit, Google Home, to all work together.
Precisely. A Matter-certified device should, in theory, just connect easily to any of those ecosystems. No more checking compatibility lists quite so much.
That would be a relief.
And there's potential beyond just basic control, too. Like, better energy management features were mentioned for the newer Matter versions.
Okay, but here's the thought. Is it all smooth sailing? I think that same Wired piece mentioned some challenges, like adoption isn't maybe super fast.
That's true. And there's this other wrinkle. Manufacturers often have unique proprietary features that make their device special. And those cool specific features might not always be covered by the basic Matter standard.
So you might lose some functionality if you rely only on Matter control.
Potentially, yeah.
Yep.
Which loops back to Tuominen's point about consumer choice. If using Matter means giving up a feature you really like, what do you choose?
That's a tricky balance for manufacturers. Standardize, but still stand out.
It absolutely is. Success really depends on the whole industry buying in, genuinely committing to openness, while still finding ways to innovate. It's a tension, for sure.
Okay, let's shift gears slightly. We've got Matter helping devices talk inside the home. But what about connecting the home to, everywhere else? The cloud connection.
Right. Tuominen mentions that most IoT devices work on an action event model. Motion detected, then send alert, door unlocked, then log event.
Yeah, cause and effect stuff.
And that works fine locally, but controlling things remotely, when you're not on your home Wi-Fi, that's where the cloud comes in.
So how does a command from my phone, say, on the bus, actually get to my thermostat back home?
That's where Matter, again, plays a role, but in a different way. Tuomin calls it a border gateway.
A gateway between the home network and the cloud.
Exactly. It provides that standardized, secure bridge. So your command travels from your phone up to a cloud service, and then the cloud service sends the command back down securely through that Matter gateway to the right device in your home. Tuominen calls this bit cloud regression.
Cloud regression. Interesting term. So it's like up to the cloud, then regress back down to the device.
Yeah, you got it. That round trip enables the remote control we expect now, and having a standard like Matter helps make that whole process more reliable and, standardized across different brands. Some stuff I read from IoT for All also really stressed how vital cloud infrastructure is for this remote management.
Okay, cloud is essential.
Yeah.
But running those cloud services, that costs money, right?
Yeah.
Especially if you have millions of devices connected.
Oh, absolutely. And this is another key point Tuominen raises. On the cloud side, what matters most, he says, is cost and agility.
Agility, like being able to scale up and down easily.
Yeah, and adapt quickly. He contrasts the older way, using traditional containers, with newer serverless approaches. FACE, function as a service.
SaaS, I've heard that term. like AWS Lambda.
Exactly like Lambda. The beauty, and Tuomanen points this out, is the potential cost saving. He suggests, what, maybe 70% or even more?
70%? Wow.
Because with serverless, you basically only pay for the compute time you actually use. When a device sends data or needs an action, a function spins up, does its job, and spins down. You're not paying for idle servers waiting around.
That makes a lot of sense, especially with IoT, where devices might only check in occasionally.
Precisely. That cost efficiency and the ability to scale almost infinitely are crucial when you're dealing with the massive numbers of IoT devices out there.
And speaking of the industry, it seems like the hardware guys are getting on board too. Silicon Labs, for instance.
Yeah, Tuomanen highlighted them. They and others are actively supporting Matter, really emphasizing the core IP tech like Wi-Fi and Thread that make it work reliably and securely with the cloud.
So there's alignment happening. People see the need for this.
It seems so. It suggests the industry understands that interoperability isn't just good for us consumers, it probably simplifies things for them too, long term.
But then there's this other angle Tuomanen brought up, patents.
Ah, yes. Intellectual property. He noted this explosive growth in IoT patents, something backed up by reports, like one from PatSnap, I think.
And not just any patents, but specifically standard essential patents, SAPs. There's a race for those.
Apparently so. Think about it. If a patent covers technology that's essential to implementing a standard like Matter,
then whoever holds that patent
yeah,
has a lot of influence, maybe even control.
Exactly. It gives them a significant competitive advantage. They can influence licensing, potentially the direction of the tech. Tuomanen's own writing on LinkedIn stresses how important leveraging your IPR portfolio is becoming.
So who are the big players in this patent race?
Well, names like Qualcomm and Samsung often come up in reports about IoT SEPs. It shows just how high the stakes are.
So it's this weird mix of collaboration on the standard, but fierce competition underneath with the IP.
That captures the tension perfectly, I think, fostering openness while protecting your own innovations.
And the scale of all this is just staggering. There was a forecast, maybe from IoT Analytics, predicting, what was it, billions of devices.
Almost 19 billion connected IoT devices by the end of this year. 18.8 billion, I think the number was.
Good grief.
Okay.
A lot of devices needing management.
It really underscores the need for what Tuomanen was talking about. Cost-effective, scalable cloud governance. You simply can't manage that many connections without smart, efficient cloud architectures.
Which brings us back to strategy. Tuomanen laid out some really sharp questions companies need to ask themselves, didn't he?
He did. Things like, what is our actual business goal with using the Matter framework? It's not just tech for tech's sake.
Right, and how does our product lineup actually align with a cloud governance strategy? Are our devices and our cloud backend really working together effectively?
These are fundamental. It's about rethinking the whole product strategy, not just ticking a Matter-compatible box. How does it all fit into this bigger cloud-connected ecosystem?
And looking even further ahead, Tuomanen also touched on how all this IoT innovation opens doors for AI and machine learning.
Makes sense. All those billions of devices are generating unimaginable amounts of data. That data is fuel for AI and ML. We can use it to build smarter systems, more predictive maintenance, personalized experiences. The potential is huge.
But again, circling back, protecting those AI innovations, the algorithms, the insights derived from the data, that IPR aspect remains critical.
Absolutely. As Tuomanen reiterates, strategically managing and leveraging your intellectual property portfolio is going to be vital for staying competitive as this landscape keeps evolving with AI.
Okay, so let's try and wrap this deep dive up. We've seen, drawing heavily on Kaido Tuomanen's insights and looking at the broader context, that IoT started fragmented, creating a real need for interoperability. Matter is stepping in as a potential glue.
Right, but with some adoption hurdles and questions around unique features still lingering.
And the cloud is absolutely essential for remote control, management, making it all work beyond the four walls of the home.
And crucially, serverless architectures, FAAs, offer a way to handle that cloud side much more efficiently and cost-effectively.
Then there's the whole industry dynamic, hardware support growing, but also this intense competition around standard essential patents.
Yep, the collaboration and competition tension. And all this is happening against a backdrop of truly explosive device growth,
which reinforces the need for smart cloud governance and strategy.
It really feels like a shift from just selling things to providing interconnected services and experiences powered by standards and the cloud.
So the final thought to leave folks with, building on those questions Kaijo Tuomanen posed, as we hurtle towards tens of billions of connected devices,
Yeah.
are the companies making these devices truly ready? Are they fully embracing open standards like Matter, adopting agile cloud strategies, all to deliver those seamless, cost-effective experiences that, people like us actually want?
That really is the multi-billion dollar or maybe multi-billion device question, isn't it? Something to definitely keep an eye on.
Indeed. Lots to think about there. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.